Welcome to Advent Express, brought to you from Port Nelson United Church in Burlington, Ontario, Canada. I'm Michael Brooks, and it is my privilege to invite you into these online services and this season of Advent. Now, Advent is observed in many different ways. Some churches set it apart completely from Christmas, focusing on themes of expectation and second coming. Other churches barely mention Advent at all, and still others use it as a way to anticipate Christmas. Despite these varying practices, there is one common symbol. The Advent wreath is a visible way to mark our journey through this time of many meanings. The candles of hope, peace, joy, and love signal the gifts we long for in the coming Christ. Alongside this, we sing carols. Now, a carol is really a dance form, and there are carols for all seasons. But of course, it is the Christmas carols that are the most well-known and well-loved. So, this Advent, let's consider the carols. Let's look at how the texts of beloved carols speak of the gifts of Advent and point to deeper meaning.
Prepare the way of the Lord. Prepare the way of the Lord. Prepare the way of the Lord. Make a straight path. Prepare the way of the Lord. Make a straight path. Prepare the way of the Lord. Make a straight path. Prepare the way of the Lord. Make a straight path. Prepare the way of the Lord. Make a straight path. Prepare the way of the Lord. Make a straight path. Prepare the way of the Lord. 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 Make a straight path. Prepare the way of the Lord.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the earth, the Savior reigns. Let all their songs employ, while fields and floods, rocks, hills, and plains repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy. No more let sins and sorrows grow, nor thorns infest the ground. He comes to make his blessings flow far as the curse is found, far as the curse is found. He rules the earth with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of his righteousness, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love. Happy Gaudete Sunday. What, you say? Well, if you've forgotten your high school Latin, I'll help you out. Gaudete is the Latin word for rejoice, and traditionally the third Sunday of Advent has been Gaudete Sunday. Advent is a season of anticipation, of longing, of peace, and above all, of hope. And these are reflective themes. Indeed, blue is the color for Advent because blue is a color of hope and of longing. It's the color of the sky, evoking the image of Jesus coming in the clouds. And it's the color of royalty to commemorate the coming King. But since we've had 2 Sundays already of these more reflective themes, it's time to let loose today. That's what the early creators of the church year planned on. They thought that having 4 Sundays of Advent that are centered on serious themes might be a bit much. So, the candle today is rose, a color of joy. And the invitation on this third Sunday of Advent is to rejoice, gaudete. So what does it mean to rejoice, and how is that related to joy? I think it's about the difference between what I call secular joy and sacred joy. Secular joy is the joy of the mall, children sitting on Santa's knee, sharing their wishes for all kinds of material things at Christmas. Secular joy is the joy of the market, special food and feasting and indulgence. So when people are experiencing this kind of joy, they will likely say things like they're enjoying themselves. Secular joy in action is to enjoy. But we don't use the word enjoy in a Christian sense. Rather, the term for sacred joy in action is to rejoice, gaudete. People typically don't say, wow, I'm rejoicing in my chocolate ice cream cone. Rather, they would say, I'm enjoying my chocolate ice cream cone. But to rejoice is to name sacred joy in action. We rejoice in the coming of Christ, gaudete. In a 2014 interview at Yale University, the great German theologian Jürgen Moltmann said that hope is anticipated joy. Hope is anticipated joy. Therefore, we rejoice in what we hope will come. We might remember that in the Christmas story, the angel says to the fearful shepherds, "Fear not, for behold, I bring you good news of great joy." I bring you anticipated joy. And so Advent is when Christians observe anticipated joy. This is captured beautifully in Isaac Watts's setting of Psalm 98. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room, and heaven and nature sing. And as is often the case, Isaac Watts was motivated by the circumstances in which he found himself. Watts lived way back in 18th century England. He grew up in what we call the Puritan tradition. And Puritans were unhappy with the religious practices of the established Church of England. They didn't think that the Church of England had taken the Protestant Reformation far enough. There hadn't been enough reform of Roman Catholic traditions, they believed. And so the Puritans tried to get rid of a lot of the practices of the established church. And of particular interest to Isaac Watts was the deplorable state of singing. You see, the Puritans threw out a lot of the music that the Church of England used, but they kept the Psalms. The Psalms were central to Puritan worship. The problem was that most of the Psalm settings were, well, they were dreary and pedantic and even boring. And this is why Isaac Watts thought the singing was so bad. People simply weren't inspired to sing what was available. And so Watts decided that he could do something about this. And it became his life work. The solution, Isaac Watts thought, was to write fresh new texts that were based on Psalms, words that would bring them to life. And these would also be set to new music. This turned out to be a brilliant strategy. Watts' new settings of the Psalms caught on very quickly, and before long the use of them gradually brought about the Reformation that he so desired. Singing improved, and other hymn writers followed his landmark example. Indeed, many of the hymns we still sing today can be directly traced to the reforms brought about by Isaac Watts. Among his most famous psalm settings is Joy to the World. And since the 20th century, Joy to the World has been the most published Christmas carol in North America. But wait, is this a Christmas carol? Or is it an Advent hymn? Or is it something else? I mean, if joy has already come, then why does it say, let every heart prepare him room? Well, it turns out that Isaac Watts never intended Joy to the World to be used at Christmas. It is true that the carol is mostly known as a Christmas carol, but in many books it's found among Advent hymns, and still other resources place it as a general song of praise. This confusion has actually helped its popularity, though, because the confusion has meant that Joy to the World has found its way into print in almost every hymn book of every denomination, somewhere in their resources. Because regardless of whether it's sung in Advent, or at Christmas, or at some other time, Joy to the World reminds us of what Christian joy is and how we enact that joy through the act of rejoicing, gaudete. You know, I was thinking that whatever one's religious tradition or culture, most people would agree that at the birth of a child, there is usually a sense of joy. There is the act of joy, rejoicing in this new gift, rejoicing in the wonder of birth. But then the child grows. Parents and others who are nurturing the life might move into a quieter joy, a spiritual experience of joy. Joy matures, and as joy matures, there is increased awareness of the relationship between this new life and other lives and all God's creation. Of course, there continues to be moments of exuberance, moments of joy bursting forth, but generally, the anticipated joy matures and is fulfilled because, as all of us know, the longer we live, the more we experience both the joy and the sorrow of living. And this is what Jesus comes to bring each of us. We hope for anticipated joy, and then we rejoice in the birth of a child. With the angels and the shepherds and the wise ones, we make our way to the manger, rejoicing in the wonder of it all. And then, as the child grows and matures, so too does our joy. We become increasingly aware of our relationship with God and how that brings about its own deep joy. So it seems to me that if Advent is hoping for anticipated joy, as Moltmann suggests, then perhaps Christmas is anticipated joy fulfilled. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room, and heaven and nature sing. Gaudete. May we enact this sacred joy as we rejoice in the coming of Christ.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the earth, the Saviour reigns. Let all their songs employ, while fields and floods, rocks, hills and plains, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy. No more let sins and sorrows grow, nor thorns infest the ground. He comes to make his blessings flow, far as the curse is found, far as the curse is found, far as the curse is found. He rules the earth with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of his righteousness, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love.